Welcome back to my channel. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about fears, the worries, the fears, the anxieties that hold you back and prevent you from negotiating. And we're going to talk about how to overcome those fears. So this is video 2 in a 4-video series. If you want to catch up on the rest of them, head to my channel and click on the Art of Negotiation playlist.
Learning how to negotiate is like seeing behind the curtain and realizing that the Wizard of Oz is actually just a normal human being. Once you've understood the process and you've gone through it a few times, it's no longer mystical and magical. It's something that you do as part of your routine, way of living, way of leading, way of being as an employee, as a team member, as a colleague. So it will not always feel this scary. I promise you that over time, the more that you do negotiate, the more you will feel comfortable. But negotiation always does carry with it some risk. And the risk is limited and it's actually very isolated, but it does still exist. So I want to talk about that briefly right now. One of the things that can happen if you approach your supervisor in role for a negotiated agreement is that if you have one of those supervisors who just doesn't provide feedback, this may actually open up the door to your supervisor providing negative performance feedback. Now, it's unlikely because most people would not be building the case for a new negotiated agreement without evidence for that, without having taken on more roles and responsibilities, without being the person that their boss turns to for support. So it's really unlikely that your boss would use that opportunity, but it is possible. It's entirely possible that that your supervisor is somebody who does not manage performance effectively, and it's only when put under pressure or the seeming pressure of having to respond to your request for a negotiated agreement that they might go, but you're not performing. If that happens, use your mindset management, keep your cool, and shift your negotiation strategy to focus on what you need to do to be able to secure that raise or secure those changes, and what's the timeline. So if there are performance issues that your boss has not raised, then use the opportunity to talk about what great performance would look like and specify when you're going to come back and do this review and ask for this negotiated agreement again. So that's the first thing that might happen. The second thing that might happen is that it doesn't turn out poorly, it just doesn't advance anything. So your boss says no, or if you're applying for a job, they're unable to negotiate to the terms that you've defined as priorities. Now, if you're applying for a job and they're not able to meet your expectations, your minimum expectations even, then it's an important signal to you about the potential for that organization. And while it may feel terrible in the moment if they're not able to give you what you deserve and what's appropriate, that may be really important information for you to consider in terms of, is this a place that I really want to move to? If at the point where I am applying for a job, they're not willing to provide me with those minimum thresholds, then it's unlikely, you should know that, it's unlikely that the company will be negotiating while you're in the job for more. The biggest negotiated agreement that you're going to get happens when you change jobs, especially when you change organizations. In-role negotiation will yield rewards for sure, but not to the extent of moving roles. So if you're moving roles and you're not seeing an increase, then you may want to consider whether that company is really a place you want to go. And then the same goes for what happens if you approach your existing supervisor in role for a negotiated agreement, for a new agreement. Sometimes you'll get a few things, but there may be points of disagreement where your boss just is unwilling to move forward on things that are important for you. What this can do for you mentally is actually, again, open the curtain and you see the Wizard of Oz, shift something for you. And the risk is really that you realize maybe that you are actually replaceable in the organization, that you're not seen as this asset that you are, that you've demonstrated, and that you're not recognized and rewarded for it. And so that can feel really disappointing. That can feel rejecting. And it's important to remember in that case that it's not necessarily a reflection of you. but more so a reflection of your supervisor and their values, or your organization and its values. So when a negotiation doesn't go as you want it to, when it doesn't hit those minimum threshold levels, it can lead to a feeling inside that this is no longer a place that I want to build my career. And although that may feel terrible in the moment, that's really important information. Because had you not negotiated, had you sat there for another 3 or 4 years waiting to be tapped on the shoulder and told that out of the blue, we're going to give you a raise because you're such a tremendous employee, you would be sorely disappointed, and you would be behind by hundreds of thousands of dollars by that point, potentially. So it is important information, and although it can feel really jarring in the moment, it's an opportunity for you to reassess where you're spending your career and whether that organization is one that has a clear path for you. You do always have choices. You do always have the opportunity to look elsewhere. And sometimes a poor negotiation can lead you to a decision that maybe you always knew in your heart of hearts, but you didn't have the evidence for. So those are the risks of negotiation, and those don't happen often. In most cases, especially with women, when you are working up the courage to ask for something that you know you deserve because you've been working your butt off, you've been the person that your boss comes to when they need assistance and support, those conversations actually go really well and they surprise you. But as I said, there are always these risks that exist in a very small way, and it's important to be aware of them going in.
Thanks for watching. If you want more videos on negotiation like this, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, while you're here, leave me a comment. Tell me if this was helpful or how you plan on implementing what you learned. And if you want to support my work while you level up your negotiation skills, then head to the link below where you can purchase my negotiation guide. In the meantime, I want to thank you for watching. I will see you here next time.